गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी यशोदानंदन व्रज रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी यशोदानंदन व्रज रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी यमुना तीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी यशोदानंदन व्रज रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we'll start with the Mangalacharan prayers. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukha Karoti Vacharam Pangam Lagayate Yatkapalam Vande Shri Guru Vinitaram Ramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishvara. Okay, thank you so much. Right, I think it's 13th or 14th session, I don't remember. 13th or 14th session, we are all in the second level of Bhagavad Gita course. And today actually is a very important topic. So in Bhagavad Gita, there are various forms of yoga that Krishna talks about, right? There is Karma Yoga, there is Jnana Yoga, there is Dhyana Yoga, and there is Ashtanga Yoga under that Dhyana Yoga, and there is Bhakti Yoga, right? So today we'll actually discuss all this yoga in detail. The primary focus would be to understand which yoga is practical for Kali Yoga and which yoga is recommended by Lord Krishna. So based on that, we come to an understanding and a conclusion as to which is the best yoga. Okay? So today's topic is the yoga ladder. So when I talk about yoga, what comes in your mind? What is yoga? What comes in your mind? Meditation, okay. Then peace, okay. Anything else? Fitness, okay. Fitness. Anything else? Right? Okay. So this is a common understanding that yoga is into peace, fitness, asanas, all these activities. But if you really understand what really is yoga, this is only partial understanding of yoga. Right? This is only partial understanding. Yoga comes from the word yuj. Okay? And yuj means unite or link. Link to whom? Link to God. Link to Lord Krishna. So that is yoga, the understanding, the meaning of the word yoga. So whatever we do, the power yoga we see, a lot of people talking about Ashtanga yoga, pranayama. All these yogas are there, you can see so many yoga studios. But the main crux or the essence is the same. That is yoga itself. Yoga, the primary understanding is that whatever you do, it has to link up to God. We as Jivatma has to link to the Paramatma. Right? Our spirit soul linking with the Supreme Soul. Okay? So that is the primary understanding of yoga. So these people don't know, even probably the yoga instructors also, not many of them know what is the real understanding of yoga. So this is mentioned in the Patanjali Sutras and various other yoga teachers who have actually excelled in this part. Right? So let's actually dig in deep. And one of the primary reasons I am able to talk about this is because of ISKCON Swami Srila Prabhupada, who has actually made it very easy to understand the different kinds of yogas. So these different kinds of yogas were actually taught by Sri Krishna or recommended by Sri Krishna to Arjuna in phases, right? To help him understand what is the best. So when he was facing certain issues, Krishna actually told him, why don't you try this particular yoga? This will help you. Then Arjuna says, no, this won't help me. This is a little difficult. Right? So we'll actually get into detail as to what is what. Okay? And one of the other reasons, if you go to scriptural understanding or scriptural, the pramana, if you see Bhagavad Gita, you can write out 2.48, is where the meaning of yoga is actually told by Krishna. Right? So this is easy when you can write it down in your book. It's very easy for you to write it down and refer it at a later point. So 2.48, Krishna says that, what is yoga? Yoga is someone who is actually equipoised when there is happiness or distress. Right? He is his state of mind is equanimity or equipoised. Too much happiness, he is not bothered. It doesn't affect him. Too much sadness, it doesn't affect him. So the control of mind and senses is applicable. So that is yoga. That is the state of yoga. Right? So he is not troubled by when there is a lot of sorrow. He is not very happiness, that there is so much happiness, he is so excited, it doesn't get into his head. But he is equipoised at that particular moment. Right? So that is the main pramana from Bhagavad Gita, it's 2.48. Okay? So let's dig in deep the different kinds of yoga. So if you see there is simple action, karma kanda, karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga and bhakti yoga. So the first two are not a part of yoga, but finally it will lead to yoga. So that's why I mentioned this. And also you have been listening to this class for quite some time, so I know the basic understanding you all have now. So if I ask you what is sinful action, can you tell me what is sinful action? Things that are against the scriptures. Those are sinful action. So that is the understanding that is already there in our head. Because for a person in this world, we will find a lot of people telling, I feel this is good. In my opinion, this is good. Right? But it is their opinion. Right? That opinion comes from certain experiences or certain samskaras that they are carrying, which is not perfect. Right? So the perfect opinion comes from Shastras. Shastras are called Apaurushya. That means it is not written by any human being. Right? Vedas was the literary incarnation of Krishna. Right? He compiled all these Vedas, all these Puranas, all these Upanishads for us 5,000 years ago. Because earlier, prior to that, it was very easy for human beings to actually remember all the shlokas and understand it. But as the Dwapara Yuga ended and Kali Yuga started progressing, it was understood that as how our body degrades, our memory also goes, same way, everything will degrade. The human being's memory power, their strength, their remembrance, their lifespan also. Right? So, in the short span of life, when there is no memory to remember, so that is the reason we have everything in a book form or written form for us to understand. Right? Because if you see, Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Krishna in 45 minutes to Arjuna. 45 minutes, Arjuna understood the whole thing. For us, it will take how many years, we don't know. We are still probably stuck in the first chapter, trying to understand. So as Kali Yuga progresses, it will be very difficult for us to understand. Right? So that's the reason we have to understand that scripture is the base where we have to, is the foundation from where we understand what is right and what is wrong. Right? So, because it is not affected by the three modes of nature. Vedas or Krishna is above that. Right? Three modes of nature actually affects the human beings, the material people. And when we say something, it is something that is concocted with the three gunas. Right? So it is very limited, it is very faulty. We discuss this where our senses are limited. Right? Senses are limited, we are easily illusioned, we have a genie propensity. Right? We discussed all this. And that's the reason we can't give any kind of opinion. So we can give an opinion based on scriptures. That is how we give opinions. Okay? So first one is sinful action, you all know, it's not a part of yoga. Sinful action is something that we do, which is not recommended by the scriptures, so going against the scriptures. Now there is something called as Karma Kanda. The Karma Kanda, if you see the Vedas, right, a lot of people, when we go to book distribution, a lot of people want to read the Vedas. They say, do you have the Vedas? The 4 Vedas. Now these are the people, they don't understand what is mentioned in the Vedas. The Vedas, if you see 70 to 80% of Vedas is talking about only rituals. Right? And the rest is talking about understanding the absolute truth. So it's a gradual progression. So what happens to people who read the Vedas is they are stuck with the rituals. So Karma Kanda is a place where actually people understand there are various rituals. So Lord has actually, see, from sinful action, people who are doing sinful action, somehow we have to get them to get them to read scriptures. Right? So you can see the gradual progression that is going to happen. So gradual progression that is going to happen. So somehow we have to get them to read the scriptures. And that's where Karma Kanda comes into picture. Right? We'll discuss that in detail. So let's actually understand. See, there's various yogas that I mentioned here. Jnana Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. So we have to understand what this yoga leads to. Why people are doing this certain yogas. We have to understand that, right? What are the different destinations? Right? You all remember this? Last class? Was it last class? Last class. Yeah. So can you all tell me what this is? The first picture? Brahman or Brahma Jyotir, the light that we spoke about. What is the second one? What is the second one? Paramatma, the Paramatma feature of the Lord. And what is the last one? Krishna, the Bhagavan feature, the personal feature of the Lord. See, these are three levels of understanding or three levels of self-realization. So first one is Brahman, right? That is the effulgence. A lot of people say, no, the energy of the Lord or the light of the Lord, right? And this is actually coming from the Lord itself. A lot of people have a misconception that from the light comes the Lord. But Lord actually disapproves this in Bhagavad Gita. He says, Brahmano aham pratishtha. Brahmano, the light that is coming is the effulgence that is coming from my body. So who is the source here? It is Bhagavan. And second one he says, it is, I am the Paramatma. He says, no, I am seated in everyone's heart. Arjuna. He says that. So that is the localized form of Krishna in everyone's heart. That is the four-hand form of Krishna, of Mahavishnu. Right? That is there as a Paramatma feature. And the Bhagavan feature is the main feature where we understand Bhagavan is a person. He has certain likes and dislikes. Right? He has certain qualities. He has certain form. Right? And when we understand that, we actually reciprocate with it in a very loving way. We understood this by our last class where we understood. Like if we take Lord as light, this I'm not saying any of this is wrong. This is all right. Lord is light. Lord is Paramatma feature. Lord is Bhagavan. You have to understand the soul. The higher level of understanding is Lord is a person. Right? So three levels of understanding is there. When someone says that Lord is right, we don't say it's wrong. It is right. But that is not the ultimate understanding. I'll give you an example. So, if you see, for example, I take a village, and in this village there is a station. First time there is built a railway station. And there is the first train that is going to arrive into that station. So there are certain villages who are waiting near the railway station, and first time they see the train coming towards the station. The first set of villagers who see, what they see is the light that is coming from the engine, from far away. Right? And then the engine, the guy is honking also, so they hear the sound also. So what they understand, the train is something which has got light and sound. They go tell the villagers, this is what train is actually. Right? A second set of people are waiting in the railway station, and what happens is the train comes. The train comes, then they understand, oh, train has got an engine, has got a compartment, and is running on a railway track. So they get a better understanding. So they go tell the villagers, train is actually has got an engine and it has got certain compartments attached and it is running on a railway track. Now, after the second group, there is a third group of people who go and start understanding that they see a lot of people are traveling in the train. Different types of people are traveling in the train. And there are different berths for them to rest. Right? And there is toilet that is available, there is an engine driver that is available. So what happens in this is they have got more understanding. It is similar here. So when you get to the Bhagavan feature, you have got more understanding about the Lord. So Lord is the light, Lord is the Paramatma, which is the localized feature that is available in every living entity, and Lord is a person who has got his likes and his dislikes, who loves his devotees, who does his various pastimes to attract his devotees, right? And we are supposed to serve him, right? So, is there any doubts on this? Any doubts that you have? So, this is the basic understanding of basic destination. Based on different kinds of yoga that you do, this is the different kinds of destination that you will reach. Now, we'll actually discuss as to which yoga you reach what. Right? Okay? So let's look into the next one. Okay, sinful action, I think we all know what is sinful action. The first is acts against the scriptures. This is not a part of yoga ladder. Defines actions that don't fit into yoga ladder. So these are actions that don't fit into yoga ladder. See, we have to understand Lord is all loving. right? So he somehow wants to encompass everyone. He wants to cater to everyone, even the sinners. He wants to somehow get them. And that's the reason there is something called as Karma Kanda. At least start. So these are people, see, there are certain people who just want to do sense gratification for my own enjoyment. Right? I want to do this one life, just enjoy. This is a common misconception. I'm surprised even Hindus speak this way. One life, enjoy. And they destroy the entire. See, the thing is, you probably enjoy this life, but whatever you're doing right now will have a certain reaction. You having a certain particular body this time is because of a certain reaction you did in the past life. So whatever you do right now decides your next life. So we have to be very careful. So after reading scriptures, we are very careful as to how we lead our life. It is very easy to go against the scriptures and do things to please our body, our mind. But ultimately, where will that lead us? So this is what Bhagavad Gita actually teaches us. So certainly, when Krishna also understands that this particular living being, my son or my daughter, is wasting his life, right, enjoying, but he doesn't know what is coming next for him. And what Krishna, as a loving father, what he does is he tries to get everyone, somehow get him interested to scriptures, and that's where he gets the Karma Kanda. So there are various things for people. Somehow you read this, various things people want. We want to make a lot of money. I want to have a beautiful wife. I want to get a nice car. So for everything, there are certain kind of rituals that is mentioned in the Vedas and scriptures. So these are people who want to sense gratify, right? At least come to this level. At least start reading scriptures. Do these rituals and you will get it. So this is nothing towards the Lord. There is no love towards the Lord. They probably don't know who is the Supreme Lord also. But it's just a step for them to come towards reading the scriptures. Right? So it's very important. So let's look at, Karma Kanda. Acts according to the scriptures. Not part of yoga ladder. Again, this is not part of yoga ladder. This is the primary step for people to actually get them to read scriptures nowadays. Even if it's for your own sense gratification, even if it's for your own enjoyment, do this. Because when you're doing certain rituals, there are certain mantras that are chanted. At least he comes into association of that. At least he listens to that. Right? Looking for one's own sense gratification, no desire to make any spiritual advancement. So these are people who don't want any spiritual advancement. These are the people who want to enjoy. But what Lord is trying to do is enjoy within limits. Do this certain activity. For instance, I'll give you this. There was something called as at a certain point of time, there was liquor actually that was banned in Mumbai. So what happened when liquor was banned? People had so much craving for liquor, right? So there was a lot of smuggling that was going on. So people used to get in public toilets, they used to get liquor. People used to sell liquor. So people used to go to public toilets and there was a certain code and all, and they used to get the liquor out. So when government found out that they are losing a lot of tax and all, they decided we get regulated licensed liquor shops. From there, certain amount will be given to people. Right? I'm just giving an example. It doesn't mean that liquor is nice. Okay? I'm just giving an example. Right? It's for Karma Kanda. So this was primarily done that they don't go overboard and drink. They can come to a licensed place and come drink accordingly. Right? This is just for the people who want to do a lot of sense gratification. Right? Don't do according to your whims and what your thoughts are. Do it based on scriptures. So if you want a beautiful life or a nice looking husband, you do certain yajna. So that is given. So what is happening right now? If you see a lot of people are busy and stuck in Karma Kanda. You have heard about so many vrats, right? There is Somar Vrat, there is a Guruvar Vrat for Sai Baba. Right? If you actually read in detail, there is no mention of Sai Baba in scriptures at all. Sai Baba is never not an incarnation of God. So a lot of people have, see, he certainly is a mystique, but there are a lot of people who actually worship him. So that is not recommended, because in Shastras, whatever is mentioned in Shastras are the people who are worshipable. Right? So Guruvar Vrat and Somvar Vrat, there are certain days we don't keep Vrat. I don't understand why that time Lord is absent. Lord is present there all the days, right? So what happens is, and there is another Karwa Chauth also we keep, right? It's also one of the, I think there's a mention in scriptures also. But as we grow in bhakti, as we understand scriptures, we never want a husband and wife for the next 7 lives. Right? Because we are trying to break the cycle of birth and death. Right? If you are praying to Lord, I want the same wife or the same husband, imagine going through the same thing again. Right? So again, Karwa Chauth again for them is to actually basically stick to the scriptures, do something based on scriptures. Come to a human form. What humans are supposed to do, you are supposed to do that. But when you get more understanding into scriptures, we realize that if you are taking next life, there is Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, birth, death, old age and disease. Nobody is free from that. Again the same cycle. Study, work, get disease, die. In between there are flickering amount of happiness that people are striving, like people 5 days they work so hard, they wait for the weekend to enjoy. So in material world, happiness means absence of distress, that's all. But what is real happiness? Real happiness, it says, we are always Satchidananda. We are always longing for permanent happiness. So that's why we go behind the small happiness. Small happiness we get, it's a flickering amount of happiness that we get bored and then we come out. We go for next happiness. But the innate quality of actually running behind happiness is always there. Why? Because our soul is always Satchidananda, always searching for happiness. And since our soul is eternal, we are looking for eternal happiness. And that is the quest that we are all going for. Anything that we do in material world is we are looking for happiness. From family, we are looking for happiness. From our wife, from our kids, relatives, office, friends. Everything that we do, we are looking for happiness. But we have to understand one thing. All the happiness that you get in the material world is flickering, short-lived, temporary. Nothing will give you permanent happiness here. So we have to understand, here is where we understand that what is our position. We are supreme, we are spirit soul. And spirit soul will only get happiness when it connects to supreme soul. Why does Krishna have to do all this trouble? Krishna is so happy in the spiritual world, but he is a loving father. Just like the father in the material world is worried about his kids' future, similarly Krishna is also worried about us. So many lifetimes we have stayed away from him. Still we are going far away. Bahir Mukha we say, we have turned our face away from Krishna. He is trying to turn our face back to him. We should give an opportunity. So much our Father, Eternal Father is trying so hard. What are we doing? We are still running behind Maya. A small thing that we stay. Did they say no? One nice quote I have read. Did I read it recently? The happiness the sadness that gets you close to Krishna is better than the happiness that takes you away from Krishna. Nice quote. Right? So we have to understand. So this is Karma Kanda. So ultimately, Karma Kanda, what we are trying to do is, here there is no understanding who is the Supreme Lord. Right? They do basic rituals for their own sense gratification. Right? But at least Lord is trying to get them to a certain level. Read scriptures. It's a gradual progression that he is doing. Right? So that he can get everyone. Slowly. When he understands, when the Karmakanda person understands, so what am I doing? I'm doing the same thing, doing rituals. Again, I'm getting certain happiness, is there for some time. Then again, I'm running away. There is something beyond this. This can't be the ultimate thing. So that's when he gets into the next set. That's why it's called the Yuga ladder. Right? Okay, so let's get into the next one. So any questions on Karmakanda? So Karmakanda again, yes, please.
In Hindu, we have so many 33,000 gods, but no one saw God as no one saw God. So we saw God as a faith. We are looking into a statue, thinking that is a faith. We are connecting God to the statue.
Yes.
So people worship some person, maybe it is Sai Baba, Sri Baba, many are there who are through them it's a faith which we are connecting to the God. No one thinking they are only the God. Through them we are connecting to God. So what is wrong with that?
I'll tell you something, probably.
Because point here is, if we don't do that, no one sees the God. And because of whatever the transformation happened in our culture, which different rulers came and destroyed our things, our actual culture is getting destroyed. So now this is the only way where people are actually diverting and going back to God.
Okay, good question.
It's like ISKCON also in one way of that.
Correct. So Prabhuji, you have to understand one thing. I think there was a class called Absolute Truth that we do, where we understood that there are 33 crores types of devtas that we have. Again, I told what is the meaning of koti, right? Koti means types, and it has got another meaning which is crores. There are two meanings of koti, right? And we discussed as to how the different Vedas talk who is the supreme, right? And we came into ultimate understanding how Lord Krishna came to be supreme. Then we discussed where he was the supreme, and there are various administrators for managing different kinds. Like for wealth, who manages wealth? Finance? Kubera is treasurer. Lakshmi Devi. Okay? Who manages the education ministry? Saraswati. Who manages the obstacle handling area? Who handles the annihilation part of the world? Lord Shiva. Who handles the secondary creation? Lord Brahma. Why is he called secondary creator? Lord Brahma is not the creator. People understand. Lord Brahma is the secondary creator. Because Krishna says, Bhumi Rapo Nalo Vayu. He gives the pancha elements. And from that elements, Brahma makes the world. The material world. Right? So a lot of people don't understand. That is because you don't read scriptures. Again, coming to your point, Prabhuji, very nice question. We haven't seen God, and that's why we have certain people or gurus that we speak about to as a mode to go towards God. Again, Lord says that it has to be through parampara or disciplic succession. Right? If you're talking about Sai Baba, my family used to believe in Sai Baba as well. I think my dad used to, and my wife said also. So they used to go, I think every year Shirdi Sai Baba they go. See, the reason is there is no mention of Shirdi Sai Baba, and he doesn't come in any parampara. So parampara, if you go into parampara, if you go into scriptures, Padma mentioned about 4 paramparas. And when you go into 4 paramparas, there we understand who is the Supreme Lord. And we, like you mentioned, Guru is required. Guru is certainly required. But Guru, when we assess a Guru, Guru speaks from scriptures. Guru is the one who is attached to a parampara. Right? Just like, if you want to ask, who is my father, who is the best person to ask? It will be my mother. Right? I can do DNA test and the entire life I can finish doing DNA test. But who is the authorized person to ask? Mother. So that's the reason Krishna says, Evam parampara praptim. You have to go through a parampara or a sampradaya. That's the only reason. See, we can certainly take Sai Baba as a guru, but then again, you have to understand he doesn't come under any disciplic succession or there is no mention of Sai Baba in any scriptures as well. Right? So there is
scriptures came very early. Shri Sai Baba came after that.
Yeah.
Like that, there are many other came like Chaitanya.
Correct.
Everyone came after that.
Correct.
So we can't expect scripture will mention that part.
This is again good. Scriptures have not prediction that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is a mention in Srimad Bhagavatam. There are 10 other verses, 10 other scriptures that mention Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even about Kalki Avatar. Right? Even Buddha. There is a mention of people who are coming after that also. Prediction is always there. So that's the reason. There is no mention of Sai Baba in any scriptures. So it is basic understanding that it is not that we are demeaning anyone. It is just we are telling what is the right path to walk. See, ultimately, if you follow a certain person, it should not be a roadblock to your ultimate growth. Right? So that's the reason we have sampradayas. And sampradayas lead to Krishna. The acharyas, when you read the Bhagavad Gita as it is, right? The introduction part, you will have the entire list of 32 acharyas coming from Krishna. Krishna, and there is Brahma, Narada, and there is Madhvacharya, and there is various other acharyas that is coming till Srila Prabhupada. So, like that, only various other sampradayas, be it Sri Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, right? Kumara Sampradaya, has got a list of acharyas which roll up to Krishna, or which roll up to Guru. When it comes to Sri Vaishnava, it rolls up to Lakshmi Devi and then Krishna. And with Rudra Sampradaya, it rolls up to Lord Shiva and then Krishna. Kumara Sampradaya, it rolls up to Kumaras, the four Kumaras, and then to Krishna. So there is no demeaning anyone. It is just that when you read scriptures, you understand the right way to devote yourself or spend your energy on. Right? There is nothing wrong. Faith is good. There is nothing wrong in having faith. But faith should be based on scriptures. Faith should not be based on our own emotions. Right? A lot of people, what happens is, like a lot of people are also attracted to the Devatas. What does Krishna say about that? In the 7th chapter, if you read, like a lot of people are attracted to certain Devatas. And they pray a lot to Devatas for material benefits. For instance, I'm not getting a job, I pray to a certain Lord. I don't have enough bank balance, I pray to a certain Lord. And I get that benediction. For some odd reason, I get that benediction. What does Krishna say about it? Krishna says, ultimately those benedictions come from me. Because Devatas are not independent. They are again dependent. They are dependent on him. This is mentioned in the 7th chapter. If I'm not wrong, it is from 26th verse or something. I can get you the correct verse. So where ultimately, so that's the reason, no? So when we talk about 33 crore Devatas, it is not easy for us to please everyone. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, I gave this example. Just like there's a tree has got branches, twigs, flowers, fruits. Right? You can't water the fruit, leaf, one leaf. What do? You water the root. When you water the root, the entire tree is nourished. So Krishna says, I am the Moola, I am the root. You just need to worship me and entire world or universe is happy, is nourished. Right? So that is, otherwise when it comes to even Karma Kanda, right? We have got, when you look into earlier my puja, I got various gods. It was not mine, I was an atheist. It was my Lord, my father used to worship a lot. And when you see the altar, right, there will be a lot of devtas. But if you read the scriptures, every devta has a certain ritual that we need to follow. But now what are we doing? We just light a diya and come. That is not the way. Every devta has a certain kind of worship that is being followed. And that is not very easy to please 33,000 crore devtas. It is not at all easy. Right? So from Bhagavad Gita we get an understanding. Understanding is that every person has a certain position. Right? We understand a certain position and honor and respect them based on that. Right? But ultimately the worship should go to one. Right? We understood from Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Mata Parvati, and the various others. There are actually 12 Mahajanas mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, who says that ultimately everything goes up to Mahavishnu or Krishna. Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam. After discussing all the incarnations of the Lord, right? Popularly only the 10 avatars, Dashavatars we speak about. That is about Jaydev Goswami, it was a popular song. But there are various avatars. They say that Lord has taken so many avatars like the tides of the ocean. We can't even count. Dashavatar doesn't contain all the avatars. There is Mohini avatar, there is Dharmatri, there is so many avatars. It's not mentioned at all. Right? So once Vedavyas mentioned every avatar in detail, Vedavyas says Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam. Vedavyas is the one who wrote all the Puranas, who wrote all the Upanishads, who wrote everything, right? Ultimately he gives an understanding that who is the Supreme Lord. Right? So let's get on. Prabhuji, we have Any more questions we can actually on this topic? So let's get into, we understood Karma Kanda, right? So let's get into, when we talk about Karma Yoga. Right, I'll just, what is the time? So let's get into Karma Yoga, right? So a lot of people talk about Karma Yoga. So there are three requisites for following Karma Yoga. First is following Vedic scriptures. We understood, right? The ultimate understanding of Karma Kanda is finally get them to little more Karma Yoga. So following Vedic scriptures. Then prescribe duties based on Varnashram. A lot of people now we say, Karma karte jao, fal ki chinta mat karo. Work is worship. So these people don't have the full understanding. Work is not worship. Just like they say, no, Madhav Seva is better than Madhav Seva. Madhav Seva is better than Madhav Seva. These are all concocted. This is not mentioned in any of the scriptures. Karma is something you have to do. But what is Karma Yoga? What is Karma Yoga? They say prescribe duties based on Varna and Ashram. How many Varnas are there? What are the four Varnas? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. And there are how many ashrams? Four ashrams. What are the four ashrams? Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanapastha, and Sannyas. These are four varnas and four ashrams. Right? So based on varnas, there are prescribed duties that are mentioned in scriptures. So when people say I am doing Karma Yoga, I give you a small understanding. Let's take Brahmana, for instance. So Brahmana is someone who actually is very austere, who has control of his mind, his senses. He leads a certain way. Right? The Brahmana's main job is Patan Patan, Yajan Yajan, Dana and Pratigraha. Patan Patan. He learns the scriptures and he teaches the scriptures. And then there is Yajan Yajan. He does yajna and he teaches how to do yajna. And Dana Pratigraha, he takes charity and he gives charity. So if you see, a Brahmana is someone who will be very poor actually. Nowadays, if you see, Brahmanas are actually working in the corporates. Ideally, in the Vedic times, Brahmana is someone who will not accept or keep anything for himself. Right? So whenever there is a big yajna, someone calls, now we have a lot of pandits, right? A lot of pandits who actually come home and they say, for this particular yajna I charge 10,000 rupees. Is that right? Is that right?
It happens.
It happens, yes. But it's not right. A Brahmana is someone who never asks money. Right? In the Vedic time, what used to happen is someone has called for a big yajna. And the Brahmana does the yajna. The person gives dakshina. And it is not that he has done a big yajna and gives 50 rupees. They give big amount of money. Some of them give land also. Some of them give cows also. So it is understood that someone of Brahmana nature is someone with very high qualities. And if he comes to a house and he does certain rituals, he is supposed to be awarded also. And Brahmana doesn't keep it with him. Whatever he gets also, he eats, maintains his body, and the rest he gives it away. Nowadays what is happening? Everyone accumulates. So again, I'm just talking about if the prescribed duties based on Varna, can we follow? What are we? I'll tell you. What are we? Can you all tell me? Anjali says Shudra. Right? Shudra is someone who actually works for all the three other Varnas. That is Brahmachari, Kshatriya and Vaishya. So I will say we are not even Shudras. See, one of the reason is, I'll tell you how the connection is. The Brahmachari is the one who is connected to the Lord. And Kshatriya primarily, who is into administration and who is into warfare, looking after the kingdom. He always has a Brahmachari in his kingdom. And Brahmachari is the one who always tells him, guides him as to what needs to be done. So again, Kshatriya is also connected to Brahmachari, who is connected to the Lord. So there is a connection. Vaishya is the one who is into business related activities, looks after farming, cows, take care of cows and various other business activities. And again, he is also connected to the Lord. And Shudra is the one who works for all three of them. In our life, I'm saying this, we are not even Shudras because we are working for someone in the MNC. We don't even know if they are connected to the Lord, if they are following any of the principles that is mentioned in the scriptures. So we are working for someone who is not probably not ever read the scriptures. So that's the reason we can't even say we are Shudras also. So if you understand the different varnas, here when I am talking about ashramas, it is very difficult. Ashrama, brahmachari, right? Brahmachari ashrama. What is it? From age 1 to 25, someone has to be celibate. The virgin, do you find? 15 years people are losing virginity. Parents are buried. Right? So, based on ashrama also. Grihastha. So, Grihastha also, now it's such a busy life in our world. Husband and wife both are working. Ideally, what happens is, the husband should be connected to a guru and guru should be connected to the Lord. Right? And husband and wife both practice bhakti together. And both are attached, and but attachment is towards Krishna. And that's how it grows, the family life grows. But nowadays, both the husband and wife are working somewhere else. They have no time also to even speak about scriptures or learn anything from scriptures. So even in Grihastha ashram, there is no guru and there is no Lord. There is no connection at all. What about Vanaprastha? Ideally in Vedic times, after the age of 50, the husband and wife are supposed to leave the house, go on a pilgrimage, yatra. Abhi if you ask 50, तो जी अभी तो लाइफ शुरू हुआ है, अभी तो है मेरे पास पैसे, फुल एंजॉय मारी. 50 के बाद क्या आता है? 51 वन में जाओ. Right? But again, that is also not followed. So what I'm trying to tell is, when people say karma yoga actually means the prescribed duties based on the varna and ashrama. Are we doing any of this? We will not be able to do it. It is very difficult. So it's very difficult to do karma yoga in this age. Right? So again, what are the pre-qualification of Vedic scriptures? One is Vedic scriptures, which we are actually taking down from Karma Kanda, and the second is prescribed duties as per the Varna and Ashrama. Right? So everyone got understanding sinful activities, Karma Kanda and Karma Yoga. Right? So Karma Yoga again, let's get into Karma Yoga. How is it practiced? Right? There are a little detachment from results of one's action is exhibited here. It is of two categories, Sakama Karma Yoga and Nishkama Karma Yoga. So when it comes to Karma Yoga also, there is something called as Sakama Karma Yoga. Sakama Karma Yoga is where the person is actually attached to his work and attached to the results also. Right? And the Nishkama Karma Yoga is attached to the work but is detached from the results. So this is Nishkama Karma Yoga. In Karma Yoga also there are two. Right? It's not attached. It's like Nishkama Karma Yoga. I can give you a small example. Someone like a painter who's very attached to his painting. Right? He draws. He's a nice artist. But doesn't bother about how much he's sold for. But the moment you take away his brush and the palette of colors, oh, he can't live. It's attached to the work. That is Nishkama Karma Yoga. Sakama is someone who is attached to work and attached to the results of the work also. Okay, is this understood? Is there any doubts in this? Just trying to tell you what comes under Karma Yoga. And ultimately, the perfection of Karma Yoga is Nishkama Karma Yoga. So slowly we are gradually progressing from Karma Kanda to Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga we are doing attached to the work, but giving away, not caring about the result. Okay? So let's look at the next one, which is Jnana Yoga. Right? Jnana Yoga is very popular. So what are the prerequisites for Jnana Yoga? First is Niskama Karma Yoga. Someone who has perfected Karma Yoga. That is attached to the work and detached to the results. Then another pre-qualification is free from doership mentality. That he understands that I am not the one who is controlling everything. I am not the one who is doing everything. So we have to understand. We understood this from, I think, one of the chapters, right? Previous session where there is Jivatma, there is Paramatma, and there is Prakriti. So the Jivatma desires, Paramatma sanctions based on the karma credits that you have. And once he sanctions that, Prakriti will manifest it for you. Right? So here is the understanding that he gives away the doership mentality that I am doing. I am the reason for everything. Right? So these are the pre-qualification. One is Nishkama Karma Yoga and one is free from doership mentality. Okay? So again, let's look into deep as to understanding of Jnana Yoga. When we perform action, there is a chance of performing some mistakes, so better avoid action. So, Jnana Yogi is someone who is very careful. Right? He is into reading a lot of scriptures, he is into gaining a lot of knowledge, and he does a lot of analysis. Right? For example, Jnana Yogi, one of the things that he understands is that we are not the body, we are spiritual. And not in the theoretical way, he understands in a very practical way that we are not body, we are the spiritual. How do you do that? From the shloka, Devyosmi yata dehe, kaumaram yauvanam jara, tata dehantaram prapte, dhiras tatra moyati. So, as the body passes from boyhood to adulthood to old age, right? Similarly, the soul also is passing. In science, it is said that every 7 years, your body is completely changed. Every cell in your body is changed. So a person who is 70 years, he has changed his body 10 times already. So that's why the ego speaks. Just like how the soul passes from boyhood to young age to adulthood, similarly the soul passes once he is dead to another body. And one who understands that is Dhiras, who is sober. Dhiras tatranu moyati. He understands similar way the soul passes to another body. Right? So he does an analysis. So he does, so I certainly don't want to get entangled. The Jnana Yogi is someone who doesn't want to get entangled. So he's the one who says, I will not work. Let's not take the risk at all. Right? So that is how it is. Right? So in this also, Arjuna says Arjuna was proposed this as well. Arjuna was proposed this option as well, Arjuna rejected it. It's not very easy. Right? Jnana Yogi is not very easy because when you are a Jnana Yogi, in this time of Kali Yuga, it's very difficult to stay because we are always active. We certainly want to do something or the other. Even if you go to any of the yoga studios, right? Minimum 30 minutes they say you have to do something. But our mind is so restless. 2-3 minutes, so many thoughts come into picture. So many things we want to do. And one notification from the mobile, we start responding to that. Right? One thought comes into our mind, oh, I haven't done this. Something is pending. House related work, office related work, we get into that. Mind is very disturbed actually. Right? So material action is performed by 3 modes of material nature. So why do I need to do any action? Why do I need? See, he's scared. See, we are controlled by material world. So let's not do any kind of action. So I'll just contemplate, gather knowledge, and meditate. Who does Jnana Yogi? What does Jnana Yogi's destination would be? Any idea? So he knows there is an energy. Right? He knows that he's a spirit soul and not a body. Do you know what is the destination of a Jnana Yogi? Brahman stage. Right? Because he is always inactive. He wants to be inactive. When you reach the Brahman stage, they say, no, merge into the existence of the Lord. This is what is Brahman stage. Merging into the effulgence of the Lord. But in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, you will probably stay in Brahman for millions of years, but ultimately you will have to come back. Why? Any idea why? Okay, ultimate says is Bhagavan. What did you say? Ultimate destination is not yet reached. So one of the primary reasons is our soul is always active. So when you reach the Brahman stage or merge with the Brahman, it is inactivity. You can stay there for long, there is no problem there. There is no death, birth, old age, disease, nothing is there. But the thing is that we get a little more curious there. What after this? Maza nahi aaya. So that's why Lord Brahma says in Srimad Bhagavatam that after spending millions of years in the Brahman stage, people fall down again. Right? So again, Jnana Yogis are the one. Two things that they are encouraged are knowledge and analysis. So I told, right, knowledge. Knowledge they gain that we are spirit soul, and we are not the body, and they do analysis. Analysis is similar to what we have done in science, right? Every 7 years our body keeps changing. So they also can analyze, there is a lot of analysis happening. And they come to an understanding, yes, we are a spirit soul. And I don't want to do any activities because I don't want to get entangled. Right? And based on the same certain nature, he is attracted to the Brahman realization, where there is no activity. Then a lot of people say, no, I want to merge into the Lord. This is actually merging into the Lord. But that is not again the ultimate destination. Right? So let's get into the next one. So actually slowly we are getting into Dhyana Yoga. And there is Ashtanga Yoga and various other yogas actually come under Dhyana Yoga. Right? Alukshor Munir Yogam Karma Karanam Uchyate Yogarudasya Tasyaiva Samapurnam Uchyate Samakaranam Uchyate. Can someone read this?
One who is a neophyte in the eightfold yoga system, yoga is said to be the means, and for one who is already elevated in yoga, cessation of all material activity is said to be the means.
Thank you so much. So here we are talking about the eightfold yoga system. What is the eightfold yoga system? Does anybody know? What did you say about it? You said so. It is Ashtanga. Ashta means 8. Anga means parts or limbs of yoga. Right? So there are two things here. The first word is Arukshor. That is a neophyte, someone who's just started. And there is second one, that is Yoga Rudasya. Yoga Rudasya is someone who has become an expert. Right? These are two stages. Okay? Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga. So let's see, whatever here, what is happening is, in Dhyana Yoga, there is kind of action that is got in. Jnana Yoga, there is no action. Because the Jnani doesn't want to do any action. He doesn't want to get entangled. So in Dhyana Yoga, slightly action is brought into the picture. Right? There is some kind of movement. So let's actually discuss that in detail. So there is Dhyana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga. What are the prequalifications of Dhyana Yoga? It is, one is Nishkama Karma Yoga. Nishkama Karma Yoga is towards action, because here we are trying to, Krishna is actually getting them to do some action, but not getting attached to the results. So that is Nishkama Karma Yoga. This is the prerequisite for Dhyana Yoga. So these are the 8 parts. Okay, sometimes Hatha Yoga they are called Hatha Yoga, various yogas they are called Ashtanga Yoga. So it has 8 parts. We talk about Ashtanga, that's why it's called Ashtanga. So when we talk about Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. Right? So what is Yama? Anybody knows what is Yama? Yama means actually the tones. In the Ashtanga Yoga or Dhyana Yoga process, there are tones. And what is Niyama? The do's. What are you supposed to do? This is the primary foundation. Right? If you see any of the yoga studios here, they will not talk about the Yama and Niyama. Directly they will get into Asana and Pranayama. So if you see any of the yoga studios or whatever yoga that is practiced right now, it is not Ashtanga. They probably practice 2 or 3 things only. But when you miss the basic thing, the foundation, which is Yama and Niyama, the do's and don'ts, anything that you do, you need a foundation, right? Morning, if you see, a lot of people come to yoga without taking bath. When there are do's and don'ts, in Yama it says that you have come, you have to wear nice clothes, you have to freshen up, and then do your asanas. Because this is not something very material. Now it is taken to be very material. People who want to, it is actually very good, it actually helps in bhakti also. But what happens right now in yoga, people are actually doing it only for their body. To maintain ourselves fit. Maintain ourselves fit, why? So that we can do more sense gratification. अच्छी तरह से करें. Right? But we have to understand one thing. When there is no yama and niyama, whatever you do is on a very false foundation. Right? People won't say that. You know why they won't say that? This is rule. Right? Because there are so many rules that you need to follow that people won't come there. You have to have sattvic food. I know yoga practitioners who don't have sattvic food, they have completely tamasic food. And they are the ones who are teaching. So what will happen to the people who are learning? See, that's why the do's and don'ts are given because so that you can practice it nicely. If you want to reach a certain realization, you have to practice it to the dot. And when yama and niyama is not followed, the rest will just be dangling on a false foundation. So when it comes to asana, there is asanas which is actually controlling the body, right? But again, this will only work if you are following the yama and niyama, right? And there is pranayama, which is actually breath control. Breath control, which is, again, you have got 5 life hairs in your body, which is controlling that, right? Again, this will work, again, based on yama and niyama. And it's very difficult actually. This is not very easy. Even if you go to yoga studio, there are a lot of yoga studios who say that you stare into the wall and look there for a lot of time. Or stare into, or think about nothingness. Even Krishna prescribes this to Arjuna. Right? Close your eyes, half eyes you should close and concentrate on the tip of the nose. He says, how long will you do? You'll get a headache. Right? And then there is pratyahara. Pratyahara means we have a senses, right? We should completely take away from the sense objects. Like for eyes, the sense object is seeing. Anything nice you should not see. For tongue, what is the sense object? Taste. Don't taste anything nice. Right? Similar to skin. What is it? Touch. What is the another one? 3 I mentioned, right? Ears. Don't hear anything nice. And what is the other one? Nose. Don't smell anything. So what they are doing is they are completely secluding their senses from the sense objects. It is very difficult to do this. Arjuna was given this option. Krishna told him to do it. There is, I'll talk about it in the next verse actually. Right? So we have to suppose. So once you get to pratyahara state, that is when dharana, dhyana and samadhi comes into picture. Where we are actually meditating on the Paramatma feature of the Lord here. So here, the Ashtanga yogi is supposed to meditate on the 4-handed feature of the Lord within himself. But you will get to that stage only when you follow this properly. So who follows pratyahara? There are so many yogas I have heard. Power yoga, couple yoga, hot yoga, beer yoga. And there is something called as doga. You know that? Doga, when people do yoga with their dogs. It's called doga. You can Google it. I don't know what all animals will come next. So this is what people are just adding things. See how people just want to enjoy, sense gratify. So they mold the scriptures according to that. Beer yoga. Scriptures tell us to actually stay away from it at least. It is not good for your health also. What people do, what we have to do, let's add a little bit of spiritual tinge in it, make it beer yoga. And doga, I heard about doga, I was just reading about it yesterday. A poor dog who doesn't know anything about yoga is made to do so many things. Right? Doga. So, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi are the various levels of meditation. Dharana is for a certain amount of time, dhyana is for a certain amount of time, and samadhi is for a certain amount of time. That is a gradual progression when you are meditating on the localized feature of the Lord, which is called the Paramatma. Do you know what is the destination of these people? Ashtanga yogis. Does anybody know? Paramatma. Where is Paramatma? Do you have your Paramatma resides within ourselves, but there is a place also. Spiritual world, there is a place Paramatma. Do you know? No, not Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha Bhagavan stays. There is something called a Dhruva Loka, pole star. So Mahavishnu, you all know the three forms of Mahavishnu. I spoke about the three forms of Mahavishnu. Do you all know? Right? So what happens? There is Krishna and he expands. There is two Chaturvyuhas. Right? And the first Chaturvyuha, Mahavishnu comes, which is also called as Karanodakshaya Vishnu. A lot of people don't know there are three Vishnus also. There are three forms of Vishnu. So there is Karanodakshaya Vishnu. Karanodakshaya Vishnu is the one who is sleeping, and from his pores and from his mouth, millions of Brahmandas, all the universes are coming out. He is exhaling. One of the reasons we are alive is because he is still exhaling. When he inhales, that's when the annihilation happens. So he is exhaling and all the Brahmandas come out. And when all the Brahmandas go, again Mahavishnu or the Karanodakshaya Vishnu expands and goes inside each Brahmanda as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Each universe has Vishnu. It's called Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu's navel comes Brahma, who does the material creation for that universe. Once that is done, once the living entities are made, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu again expands and goes into every living entity's heart, that is Paramatma. It's called as Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. Now understand, so much intricacies is there in our scriptures. How many of us really knew? I never knew there was three Mahavishnus, three forms of Vishnus. Right? So this is Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. And the ultimate destination of Dhyana Yogis is actually the pole star, where actually Kshirodakshaya Vishnu resides. Right? It's called Dhruva Loka, it's called pole star. Right? I'll tell you why this is so difficult. Right? So we understood how Karma Kanda leads to Karma Yoga, Karma Yoga leads to Jnana Yoga, Jnana Yoga leads to Ashtanga Yoga, Dhyana Yoga. Right? Now, this is the one, Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 11 and 12. Okay? So Krishna says, to practice yoga, one should go to a secluded place and should lay kusha grass on the ground and then cover it with a deer skin and a soft cloth. The seat should not be neither too high nor too low and should be situated in a sacred place. The yogi should then sit on it very firmly and practice yoga to purify the heart by controlling his mind, senses and activities and fixing the mind on one point. First, secluded place, not a bedroom. Bedroom is not secluded. We will have constant nagging from our wife or our kid. Secluded place, Krishna says to go to forest. Where is the forest? I saw leopard is actually coming out now. We are encroaching into their forest. Those poor things don't have place to stay. Where is this forest? It should be a forest, it should be Shuddha. Purified things. Now if you go to forest, there are so many wildlife photographers also. Right? Lions, tigers, big, our picture also will come. Meditating. Right? Why Krishna says that we cover it with kusha grass and on top of that cover it with deer skin? Anybody has any idea why do we do that? The deer skin actually repels the insects. It's scientifically proven. So scientific scriptures are there. So there is the reason why people put deer skin over kusha grass. Okay? So it repels the insects, because when you are actually meditating, there should be no disturbance, right? And that's all. If you can't do Ashtanga Yoga, the various meditations, the last three meditation steps in a house, It is practically not possible in Kali Yuga. First of all, there is no forest. It is practically not possible. Right? And then what is mentioned? Then we have to refrain from all the action and sit in one place and meditate on the Lord. Right? Again, sitting position also, it should not be too comfortable, it should not be too. So there's a Padmasana pose that is recommended. But this is ideally, see what we do when we are Bhakti yogis, right? We take certain things that are good in other yogas. When it comes to the seating posture, a Padmasana or a nice comfortable position is actually good for our chanting. So we can take that. But completely following this is not happening. It is very difficult. For Kali Yuga Jivis, it's very difficult. Right? So you understood, right? How Ashtanga Yoga is supposed to be performed. Arjuna straight away rejected this. No, I can't do this. I can't do this at all. So what does Krishna say? Krishna actually gives him an understanding of Bhakti Yoga. See, Bhakti Yoga is something that is for everyone. The worst sinners also can do practice Bhakti Yoga. I would have done the worst sin past few years ago practice. I can still, Lord will tell you, please chant my name. Here is a very famous shloka. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktya uparitam ashnami prayatatmanaha. Can someone read?
If one offers me with love and devotion any flower, food or water, I will accept it.
Thank you. See here, Krishna is actually trying to tell people how easy it is to actually do Bhakti Yoga. What is Patram? What is Pushpam? Phalam? Fruits. Toyam is water. Right? Even now we say Patram, little expensive. Can't do that. Pushpam, oh, that is even more expensive. Phalam, no, that is even more expensive. The Krishna says, at least give me water. That you can find anywhere, right? So it doesn't matter how rich we are, how poor we are. Krishna is the one who will take everyone. And here, 2 times mention of Bhaktya is there. Yoge Bhaktya Prayachati, Tad Aham Bhaktya Uparitam. What is Bhaktya? Bhaktya comes from the word Bhaj. Bhaj means to serve. To serve the Lord. See, anyone we love in this material world also, how do we show that we love them? We serve them. I give you an example, right? Of the last time, a mother and an infant sleeping. The infant is crying. Right? The mother gets up, oh beta, I love you. And she goes back to sleep again. Infant is still crying. Mother gets up, oh beta, I told you that I love you so much. Huh? Why are you crying? Again the child is crying. That is not love. Love is something where we serve. Mother will get up, she will forget her sleep, she'll take the baby, she'll feed the baby, she'll ensure that the baby is put to sleep. She will reject her happiness for baby's happiness. That is serving. That is unconditional love. And here Krishna says, Bhaktya, offer it to me with love. Service with love. This Krishna is someone who is a person who likes. We always relate to a person only, right? If we can't relate to light, or Paramatma also, because it's a localized feature in the heart. But Krishna is the one, the Bhagavan feature is the one who has got qualities, who has got pastimes, who has certain likes and dislikes. So we relate to him even better way. If you see, in Mahabharata, when Krishna actually goes as a Shanti Tooth, right? He goes to Duryodhana's, the Kauravas, to actually talk about peace instead of war. Why don't we talk about peace? Right? And when he goes to Duryodhana's court, and everyone is receiving it, Duryodhana has told Krishna, I have arranged a great palace for you. I have made 256 bhogas for you. Right? You please come and stay here. But Krishna knows Duryodhana's heart. Right? He doesn't have any love for Krishna. What did Krishna say? No, I won't be staying with you. I'll be staying with Vidura. So Vidura is a great devotee, Vidura's wife is a great devotee. It's a beautiful pastime. When Krishna actually goes to Vidura's house, and Vidurani, the wife of Vidura, is so excited to see Krishna's face. And she is completely mesmerized. And she invites him in, and she is offering bananas to Krishna. She is peeling the bananas, and the banana she is giving the peel to Krishna. And Krishna lovingly eats the peel because he feels the love from her. You see, the Supreme Lord owns everything, Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, Matas Sarva Pravardhate. He says all this, and then by the devotee's love, he is just captured. Aham Bhakta Paradhina. Krishna says that in Srimad Bhagavatam, my devotees can control me. So he gives a lot of importance to devotees. Bhaktya Mama Vijanati, only my devotees will know me. He doesn't say Jnana Yogis or Ashtanga Yogis will understand me. He says Bhaktya Mama Vijanati. So same way, Vidurani, when she was feeding the banana peel to Krishna, he lovingly ate it. And it was Vidura who actually came, what are you doing? So Krishna stopped and let her do it. That's how loving Krishna is. He is called the Bhava Grahi Janardana for a reason. He sees the bhava behind everything that we do. He sees the love behind everything that we do. Right? We can't cheat anything from Krishna. He is the biggest cheater actually. You think he can cheat Krishna? Nobody can cheat Krishna. Right? So let's get on to the next one. So bhakti is for everyone. Anyone can do bhakti. Right? So when it comes to Ashtanga yogis, right? One thing you have to understand, whatever Ashtanga yogis practice, whatever anarthas they have, or whatever bad qualities they have, lust, anger, greed, whatever is there, it slowly gets trimmed. It doesn't get uprooted. So if there is a certain deviation, those things again sprout up. Everyone's heard about Vishwamitra story, right? Vishwamitra used to practice because he wanted to become Brahmarishi. Later on, he became a devotee of Lord Ram. That is another story. But it was very difficult for Vishwamitra as well. A great sage like Vishwamitra could do. And we, a great Kshatriya like Arjuna could do it. He rejected it. You think we can do Ashtanga Yoga? We can't. When great personalities are telling that we failed, we can't do it. So what is the easiest way Krishna has spoken? Then do Bhakti Yogi. All we have to do is come in loving service of me. And it is not love, that is a lot of people say, no, like Krishna says, Dikta nahi hai, only one way love story, I think. See, one way love story is because we don't have full understanding of the Lord. For the Lord is very reciprocal. And as we deepen our sadhana now, we'll actually feel that. How Lord is with us in everything that we do in our life. Okay? So it's very important to that. Okay? So let's get into this one. What is the time? Just take a time sheet. 12:25. I'll just go a little more faster. If there is any question, you can ask me. Machita Madhyata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. See here, Krishna says that Bhakti Yoga is for someone, it's very exciting, enthusiastic, and Ramanticha. It's very enjoyable. And it's a process that always enlightening with one another. It is for everyone to do it together. It is not a dry process like Ashtanga Yoga. I have to go to a secluded place. Like Jnana Yogis, take away everything, don't do any kind of work and sit in a separate place. It's so dry process. This is a wonderful process where we are in the association of all the devotees. Someone falls down, someone picks up. Someone always inspires us. If I am not chanting, I am seeing other person is chanting and he tells me why I am not chanting. It's always inspiring. Why do people, so many volunteers are like us, we call you? Because we all want to go together to Krishna. And I don't want you to take you to Brahman or Paramatma. Let's all walk to Vaikuntha or Goloka Vrindavan. Yeah, that is the place. That is our original place. We are spirit soul, our original place is the spiritual place. Whatever you do in your material world will give you a flickering amount of happiness. And we think that is the happiness we have to strive for. On a daily basis, we actually look for that happiness. But we fail miserably. Whatever expectation that we have, ultimately everything will fail. The only thing that will stay is our connection with the Supreme Soul. Because that is an eternal connection. Mahaivansh Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. You are all my parts and parts, Krishna says. So all we need to do is connect to Him. The Bhakti Yoga is the process. Right? And always, discussion about Krishna is always so enjoyable. If you hear, there is the same Damodar Leela that we spoke in Kartik month, we speak about Damodar Leela. Every Kartik month we speak about Damodar Leela only. But we are always so enthusiastic to hear about Krishna's pastime. It never gets boring. Right? What did Lord do? And what really happened? Our realization with that also gets better. That's why we enjoy it even further. Because when our sadhana gets a little more stronger, when the preacher actually talks, we can actually relate. Because the realization from the preacher also gets into you. Right? So it is always so enjoyable. It's not that Krishna has done, I'm going to talk about an additional pastime which is away. We have 90 pastimes of Krishna. I'm not going to tell you 92nd or 93rd pastime. Right? It's not that. Pastime remains the same, but it is always so enjoyable. Right? So let's get into the next one. Here, everyone knows Prahlad Maharaj? Yeah? Hiranyakashipu's son. So Prahlad Maharaj is a great devotee of Lord. Right? He gives the 9 devotional limbs of bhakti. Right? Let's read that. Shri Prahlad Uvacha Shavanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vantanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmadivedanam Iti Pumsarpita Vishnu Bhaktischena Lakshana Kriyeta Bhagavati Yada Tanmanyeditam Uttaman. We'll actually discuss this. So Prahlad Maharaj said, hearing and learning about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities, paraphernalia, pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering them, serving the lotus feet of Vishnu, offering the Lord respectful worship with 16 types of paraphernalia, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming a servant, considering the Lord's one best friend, and surrendering everything unto Him. This is the 9th process of bhakti. It is Shravanam, Kirtanam. What is Shravanam? Hearing. What is Kirtanam? Chanting, right? Listening to the glories of the Lord, singing the glories of the Lord. That is Kirtanam. And of whom? Vishnu, Krishna, right? Smaranam. What is Smaranam? Remembrance. When you do Shravanam and Kirtanam, only you do Smaranam. It is not very easy to do Smaranam. If you only know about the person, if you only talk about the person, is only when you remember that person. It is not easy to do Smaranam otherwise. Then what is Pada Sevanam? Worship the lotus feet of the Lord. Or use our lotus feet to walk towards the temple. Or do various sevas of Pada Seva. And then what is Archanam? Archanam is offering prayers. Offering various kind of prayers to the Lord. What is Vandanam? Vandanam is obeisances. Paying your respects to the Lord. What is Dasyam? Seva. We understand our position, we are servant, we are always supposed to serve the Lord. That is Dasyam. What is Sakyam? In a very friendly way. We take him as a friend also and we serve him. This is what Arjuna did, no? Dasyam and Sakyam. Both did it. That. And then this Atma Nivedanam. That is offering everything that we do to the Lord. This is the last, that is Atma Nivedanam. And these are the 9 processes of bhakti that is mentioned by Prahlad Maharaj. See? If you see, we are already doing all of this. at least trying in a very small way, whatever way we can. So it's a good thing that we all started. We have to understand we are very, very lucky that we are in Bhakti process. And a lot of people are actually stuck in the other parts of yoga. Now, one of the reasons they are stuck in the parts of yoga is because there is no understanding how to do that particular kind of yoga. We understood how yoga, Ashtanga is so difficult. They are training in the first two levels itself, Yama and Niyama. Very difficult. Jnana and Karma Yoga won't get them to, or Ashtanga Yoga won't get you to the ultimate destination. Ultimate destination should be the Bhagavan feature, because we are spiritual, we are always active, and we need some kind of activity, and that is happening only in the spiritual world. This is reason, Vaikuntha. Lord is just waiting for all of us. He's telling us, see, whatever enjoyment that we are doing here, we think that it is great enjoyment. But if you see, the people in the heavenly planet, they look up to us, ye kya kar rahe log? Just like imagine, we are all seeing a pig, right? Pig is eating stool, he's enjoying. How we look at it? Same way, people in heavenly planets are also looking at us. Ye kya enjoy kar rahe log? They're looking at us like pigs who are eating stool. So we have to understand what we are supposed to do. The various parts of yoga is actually to help us. See, in Kali Yuga, why this is very practical. Bhakti you can do anytime. We have all done so many sins in our life. But we are here chanting Lord's name. See, chanting Lord's name, I told Ashtanga Yoga, it is just cut the, trim the, whatever, anarthas that we have. In Bhakti, it is approved. It is approved. Which is the verse I tell you. Chetodarpanamajanam bhavamahadavag nirvapanam Shreyakairavaka chandrika vitaranam vidyavadu jivanam. So in this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Krishna. So we'll actually talk about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu next session, right? I'll talk about that as well. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says when you start chanting, right, the mirror, the dust that is accumulated in the mirror of the heart is cleansed. And that's when we see our real self. Right? It just starts by chanting. So many people can't chant also, you know that? If I tell them to chant today, they will not be able to continue it forever. Right? You need some kind of sukriti, you need some kind of determination, you need some kind of faith to actually go into this process. A lot of people, what they think, you know, yeah, bhakti to work easy hai. They want something very challenging. इसमें मजा नहीं आया. Bhakti is not very easy. If you start following the rules and regulations, it's not very easy. Constantly thinking about Lord, constantly keeping Lord in the center of our life. You think it's easy? Our whole life, entire lifetime, we have only thought about us. You think in a split of a second we'll be able to keep Lord in the center? No, it's a process. That's why Lord says, follow this process, ultimately you will come. Abhyasa, Kaunteya says, Abhyasa. Practice. But what we say? Maza nahi aaya. Chanting mein udam nahi. तो जी और कोई मंत्र है चुटकी में से मिल जाए? This is what we are looking for. See, Ashtanga yogis, they have a lot of siddhis also. We have heard about a lot of Ashtanga yogis from Himalayas, they come down. They have been living for years together. Some of them can walk on water. Some of them become the size of a small ball, become bigger as well. But ultimately, what is getting them? This is just getting them some recognition. That's all. So when Srila Prabhupada was there, right, in Navadvipa, in West Bengal, someone told him, Prabhupada, there is one Ashtanga yogi, he can actually walk the water and cross the river. So Srila Prabhupada said, what is there in that? I can pay 2 rupees to the boatman, he will take me. So Siddhi was worth 2 rupees, he says. See, Siddhi, which is not getting you close to the Lord, is worthless. We are just wasting our time. We are just wasting our time. Manusha Dharma, very durlabha. Allah Ta'ala says it's very durlabha. We have got this Manusha Janma after years. After evolving from various animal species, we have got this. And we are still doing the same thing what animals are doing. Eating, mating, sleeping and defending. 100% of our energy is spent into that. Bhakti Yoga teaches us, you do that. simultaneously. You do this also. This will elevate you. But why? We are still, because we have been doing this for so many lifetimes, that is there inside, the samskara is still there. So we still want to eat, mate, defend. Right? That's all. Sleep. That's all. So right now, we have a human form. This is where we can read the scriptures and understand the scriptures. Dog and cat won't come into this class and listen to me. But we all can. Right? We all can and start practicing it. And when you practice it, you will see the results. But there should be some kind of dedication and determination to walk this path. That is very important. If I am dedicated, see, you go to any yoga studios also, they will tell you 30 minutes you need to spend. Can you tell 5 minutes I'll do some yoga pose and I'll leave? It says, no, what's the use? You will not get it. Minimum. So chanting minimum 4 rounds, we should at least chant. 30 minutes of a time. 24 hours Lord has given us. 30 minutes we can't give it to 24. However busy you are. Right? We can't say we don't have 30 minutes for us. Who is looking after us? Lifetime after lifetime. 30 minutes we don't have. So whatever we are doing bhakti, this is the one that will get to the ultimate destination. But we have to give our complete 100%. That's only when you start seeing results, some tangible results, where you can relate to. Where you can tell. I can tell some, there has been, I can't tell I have reached a stage where I'll go to Golokavita right away. But I know I have made small progress from where I was to where I am right now. It's not that I am also doing chanting on a regular basis. All my chanting rounds are really good. But I'm thinking, when I'm hearing only the sound. No. If I'm doing 16 rounds, I'll tell you 2 or 3 rounds is only very good. I'm also constantly struggling. Everyone is constantly struggling. Krishna says that you will struggle, but you have to get the mind back again. That is meditation. When you realize your mind is going away, getting it back. That is meditation. That is controlling your mind. That is where you control your mind. You don't completely close the way. No, I won't see this, I won't see this. No. You are in this material world, you have to deal with material things. You can't say, I will leave my family and go to do sannyas. No, Krishna doesn't recommend that. You have been given this family to look after for this particular lifetime. You have to look after them. But you should not forget your ultimate dharma. There are 2 types of dharma. Swadharma and Sanatana dharma. Swadharma is your dharma towards your society, your family, that you are doing. That is the only dharma that we are doing. Our eternal dharma, which is to serve the Lord, to think about Him, we are not doing. Right? So both the things should be balanced. Both the things should be balanced. And we are in a very ideal position. I think most of us have no problems. Right? Physically we are well. Financially we are okay. We can eat 3 meals food. Lord has given us this. Only thing He is telling, do this bhakti so that you don't have to come into this material world again. Some people say, see, some of them actually have a very nice lifestyle, they will probably have a lot of money and things like that. So इसमें क्या problem क्या है? अगले जन्म में आ गया तो. See, you are getting certain things in your life right now is because of some karma credits that you had in the previous life. Doesn't mean that you will have the same credits next life. Anything can change in a moment. Dhritarashtra, you know the Dhritarashtra why all his 100 kids were killed, right? 50 lifetimes back, he had done something, and that is why the karma came and all his 100 kids were killed right in front of him. Krishna tells him, it's not just that your last life, there's 50 lifetimes, so you never know when the karma bomb will actually happen. We slack in bhakti so badly. We should not slack. Constantly we should think, I'm in this position because of Lord's grace, let me do my bhakti nicely, rest He will take care of. Doesn't mean you leave your job, doesn't mean you leave your family and life. No, you should take care of them. We are all grihasthas, we are doing that. Everyone's taking care of their wife, their kids, their family, their relatives, their friends. But along with that, they are doing their spiritual duties as well. They don't actually give any kind of a way where they feel that आज spiritual activity नहीं करेंगे, नहीं, पहले they give preference to that, because through that only you will get an understanding to serve your wife and kids also better. Spirituality will help you in everything, in maintaining your relationships also, not just dealing with stress, anxiety, depression. There are material things, so many things Bhagavad Gita teaches. Right? All we need to do is open that great book of wisdom. That's all we need to do. And read. Made it very easier by Shloka and by Karthikeya Prabhuji, who spent almost 2 to 3 years just for all of us. Referring various other books, various other acharyas, and then he has given us. Why? Just for us. It's made so easy for us. Even now if you don't do, then what? Lord will be telling what and all I need to do. Right? The next, okay. So Bhakti Yoga again is performed with love towards the Lord. It contains 9 aspects of the devotion service. We went there. Okay. So just conclude as to what we really spoke in the Yoga ladder. So Karma Kanda is again getting a person to act according to the scriptures, right? Karma Yoga, along with scriptures, there is something called as detachment that comes into picture. Then there is Jnana Yoga, there is scriptures, detachment, and something called as knowledge from the scriptures, right? He does analysis. Then Dhyana Yoga, there is scriptures, there is detachment, there is knowledge, and there is an addition called meditation, right? And in Bhakti Yoga, you're actually doing everything. Scriptures, detachment, right? Does anyone know what is detachment? Detachment doesn't mean you leave your wife and kids, right? I told you that. Detachment means that you are not attached to any temporary things in your life. You understand that, for instance, someone passes away in our family, right? We are so sad. Naturally, we are human beings, we become sad. But ultimately, we actually pray for their progress in their life, in their next life. If they are not a devotee, we actually pray for a good destination. But we understand that we should not be sad for a very long time. Because Shastras also say that we should send them happily. Okay? So detached means you understand that everything is temporary in this world. Be it your relationship. Only thing that is permanent is Krishna. You know why it is permanent? Krishna says, Sahudam Ham Sarvabhutani. I am your well-wishing friend. Why? I am a wife and kid, I am a family. After this life, I don't know if they will be there with me. But who is there with me throughout? Even if I become a pig eating stool, Krishna is the one who is there as Paramatma residing in me. That's why he says, Suhurdam Sarvabhutani, I am your well-wishing, ever well-wishing friend. Nobody else. Various other people who are there in our group, based on their karma, they will get a certain body or certain destination. Even with them, Krishna is there. So Krishna is the one who never leaves us. So that's why he says that have an eternal relationship with me, because I am the one who will never disappoint you. Your material relationship may disappoint you, I will not disappoint you. Right? So again, Bhakti Yoga is scriptures, detachment, knowledge, there is meditation, mantra meditation that we do, and there is aspect of love, that is bhakti, bhaj. So that's what we do. Everything that we do, even the arti, Gita that we do, it is. And one more thing that we need to work, all the other yogas we are dependent on our own endeavor. We have to do. Ashtanga Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, we have to do. In Bhakti Yoga, we are dependent on the Lord. So the reference point is Lord here. Even when we are doing Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the feeling is, Lord, I am not able to concentrate, please help me. Please help me, I am not able to do this well. We are constantly praying. So here again, we are begging the Lord. So here also we are taking the help of Him. There is an example, right? A kitten holding a rat, and a kitten holding a cat holding a kitten. It's very different. Right? So that's what Bhakti Yoga is. Bhakti Yoga is a cat holding a kitten. For the rat, it's death personified. But for kitten, it is safety. It is mother's mouth. Right? So let's all, so again there is mentioned as staircase versus lift. Because staircase, the other parts of yoga is mentioned as staircase because it's very difficult to do. Bhakti Yoga, if you start practicing on a regular basis, you can see tangible results in few months. And that when you see that, that's when you get a determination to do it further. So direct elevation. And Lord also, he says, Bhakti is what? What? He's more inclined towards. See, there is that Krishna's choice of yoga. Yoginam api sarvesham. When Arjuna asks, what type of yoga do you prefer, Krishna? What is the best yoga? So he says, Yoginam api sarvesham, madhyatentarātmana, saddhamā bhajate yoma, samaya yukta, samomata. One who worships me with bhakti, bhajate yoma. Right? So, there are a lot of things that Krishna tells in why Bhakti Yoga is so important to him, why he just, see, even when he says, no, who can understand me, he says, Bhakti Ama Vajayavati. It is Bhaktas who will understand me, nobody else. Well, why we will understand? Because we know the form of the Lord. We know what's his like and liking, his form, qualities, powers. And that's why Krishna says only Bhaktiyas will understand me. He doesn't say Jnana Yogis or Ashtanga Yogis, because they don't know. Because they are meditating on the Paramatma feature or the Brahman feature. Because there are no qualities. There is no form. So the ultimate realization is the Bhagavan feature. And that's why Krishna says, only Bhaktiyas will understand. Okay, what I'll do is right now, I'll open it up for questions. I'll take a few questions. And I have few announcements as well. Any questions so far? From this today's session or any previous session you have, or any doubts that you have that you want to clear, I'll try my best to answer it. Anything good? Any questions? Actually, the questions from this session from this group has reduced a lot, isn't it? Initially, I think the 3-4 sessions they were bombarding me with questions. So I was telling Prabhuji, Prabhuji is a very inquisitive group I have. They are always asking questions. So Prabhuji was very happy because inquisitiveness is always nice. So either I understand that all your doubts are clear, or either I have to come to an understanding that things are going above my head. So which do I understand? The first one? I take it as the first one? That will make me also happy. Right? So anyways, I'm here. By me to Prasad. Today is Ekadashi. I forgot to tell. Today is Sapar Ekadashi. So we Vaishnavas actually keep Ekadashis. Ekadashi, there are 24 Ekadashis in a year. And Ekadashi is kept because whatever you do on an Ekadashi, there are multiple ways of blessings that come from the Lord. Right? So what is Ekadashi Upavas? Upavas means Upu means near. Vas means stay. Stay near the Lord. Right? So ideally what we are doing Ekadashi, we are actually staying away from food. Right? Because we spend a lot of time eating and preparing food and all that and trying to get closer to Krishna. So that's called Ekadashi. And there are various other scientific reasons why we do Ekadashi. They have been known by science that they talk about a lot about eating, right? Right? We have Ekadashi every 11th day of the waxing moon and 11th day of the waning moon, which is the moon travels from Purnima to Amavasya and Amavasya to Purnima. So that's when we keep the fast. And this is the time where actually what happens is there's something called a junk DNA. Everyone says junk DNA in science. There's something called a junk DNA which is there. And as the junk DNA withers, right, our lifespan also reduces. Primarily it happens because of our food habits. Right? To ensure that the junk DNA, this junk DNA, it's called junk DNA because it has got no information, no coding, no information. So a lot of science people used to tell earlier that is useless, and ultimately they come to an understanding there is no God. But now the scientists have come to an understanding that as long as you can preserve some of junk DNA, your lifespan also increases. So that's why the Shastras say have something food. Right? And when it comes to fasting, it is good that you fast on certain days because you're giving rest to your body as well. That is good because junk DNA actually recuperates. It doesn't fall off. So when it comes to, because again there is, during these days, the moon, right? Because of the moon, you know that the tides actually work according to the moon. There is high tide and low tide, it's all because of the moon. Right? There is water in our body. 75% of our body is water. 75% of our brain is also water. So what happens? The moon is the reason that we have so much emotional turbulence on this particular day. So that's why they say don't have any kind of a tamasic kind of food, of rajasic kind of food. Have Sattvic, I know, fruits is recommended. In Ekadashi, we have got Ekadashi food actually. This is Ekadashi food. From the temple, we can have Ekadashi food. There is no grains because grains retain water. So we don't have grains. So we can have fruits and various other things. If you want to follow Ekadashi, you can ask one of the mentors here. They will tell you how to follow it. They will tell you when it happens. And it's actually good for your health also. And it actually gets you closer to the Lord because we are doing various activities. Some of the people who are chanting 16 rounds, they chant 32 rounds. I have not done that so far. Maximum I have done is 28 if I am not wrong. So we have that. But it's got multiple benefits. Lord says that. There is kathas for 24 Ekadashis. We can talk about that in detail. This is only one thing that I told scientific reasons. There are many scientific reasons. Right? So Ekadashi is today. Another thing is that I wanted to speak about the next session is about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So which is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's very important. Why we actually, when we are doing the Mangalachara also, in Chaitanya, we talk about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But we all don't know. I never knew about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu before coming to ISKCON. Right? So it's a very important topic when it comes to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because ISKCON, the Gaudiya Sampradaya, is Krishna comes back as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and talks how to do devotion service. Krishna told the bhakti is the most important thing. But then Krishna realized I have not told them how to do bhakti. So that's the reason it comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So you'll understand that not from me, but from our temple president, ISKCON Prabhuji. ISKCON Whitefield Temple, but we have requested him. Hopefully Prabhuji will come. So please do come. It's an opportunity for us to associate with Prabhuji also. So he'll be our ISKCON Whitefield Temple president. Okay, so please don't miss the next session. It's very important. It will actually give you more faith towards doing bhakti. Why it's so important to do bhakti in Kali Yuga. And why Lord actually came 500 years back to help us, to tell us this. 500 years back Lord came. We don't know about this. We only know about this when we actually read scriptures properly. Now Prabhuji will actually show you various pramanas as to where it's mentioned. Right? And you can ask various questions also. So today's prasadam is sponsored by Deepesh Prabhuji for Dhyana's birthday. Right? Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Let's chant one Hare Krishna Mahamantra for Prabhuji's daughter. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One more thing I want to talk about is that we have 20th, we have that trip, Yatra. I forget the place name. Bangalore Tirupati, right? One day trip. It will be a very refreshing trip. It's a trip that will enrich our life in bhakti. So please do come for that. I know some of you have already enrolled. If you have not enrolled, please do enroll. If you need the details, please ask them. Right? The mentors are here, the leaders are here. Please ask them and get enrolled. This trip actually will help you a lot. I'm telling you because of experience, because most of us have been into this. We don't want to miss out on these trips. So this will give you ample amount of time to actually plan as well. Jan 20th. So Sunday, Prabhuji? Saturday. Most of us are off. Right? Most of us are off. So why not make this trip? Please do come. It's a one-day trip. The registration amount is mentioned. We'll actually go in an easy bus. It's a 2-hour journey if I'm not wrong. We'll go to that place. We'll hear Katha from Kartikeya Prabhuji about the place. Once you hear the Katha, then it will be even better to actually visit the temple. Because we understand why the temple is there. We understand why the Lord is there. And that will actually deepen our bhakti also. Otherwise, you know, right? It's like sightseeing only. When we go to any temple, we'll see the Lord, we take the darshan, and we come out, we forget. But when we actually listen, hear about the Lord, and the understanding why the Lord is there, why the temple is there, that will give us a deeper understanding when we are taking darshan of the Lord. Right? So please do come. Is there anything else that I missed out? Actually, next week is very nice. We have ISKCON Prabhuji and we have done book distribution. I will all tell you to maybe join us this year in 2024. We actually book distribution in December as Gita Jayanti is there. Right? So we do some kind of felicitation. It will be like a feast, grand feast also will be there next Sunday. So please do come, don't miss it. We will also get association of ISKCON Prabhuji. And yes, another thing is that the next session will be the end of Gita course session, right? The level 2. But your learning doesn't end here. You will be assigned to a Bhakti Vriksha leader, something called as a leader, who will actually take you to the deeper concept of Bhagavad Gita. And this will happen as we move forward. Right? So what is going to happen is on Sunday next week, we'll actually introduce each one of you to your Bhakti leader as well. Right? And now if you know, some of you are already getting calls from them or messages from them. If you're not getting calls or messages, please give your names there. We'll assign a Bhakti leader to you. Right? Because this is a continuous learning process. We have just taken one step into Bhagavad Gita. We feel we have got a lot of information. Right? Let's dive into this. And that happens when we actually go into the Bhakti Viksha classes. Every one of us have taken Bhakti Viksha classes and will actually help you grow spiritually. Right? It's a small group that we make. Every leader will have a small group. It becomes like a small family everyone meets. It becomes like a small family and we discuss. It's a very interactive session. Right? It's like it's no less than a festival. So please, that's going to happen next week. So what we'll do right now is just stand for a few minutes. Again, I've taken a sorry. Okay, I'm really sorry. So yoga ladder, I thought it's early today. But whenever I think that way, I always end up taking the most amount of time. So I'm really sorry. If you have not completed your rounds, please you can go home and complete your rounds. I'm really sorry about this. So what we'll do is we'll have Kirtan now. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Again, I will look forward to meeting you all next week. I'll also be there. And we can have the association of Hare Krishna and all